Tuesday. Hello to my virtual people. Hope you guys are good. Hopefully day one of that virtual experience on Canvas went smooth. When you left last week, I felt pretty good about it. So hopefully we're able to access everything and manage our time and be responsible and get the stuff done that we need to get done. So I normally film my Fantastic Five videos in the man cave on the weekends, but Charlie has 3 or 4 of his buddies over, and that was quite distracting. And I think I tried to film like 6 different videos and none of them were working. So I came out to school. So it's a little bit of a different scene, but the goal is still the same. If you are watching this video, that means you already completed Tuesday's Fantastic Five. Yesterday's Fan 5, hopefully that video helped you either answer any questions you might have had, or it could have very well helped you on a question that you saw today. Either way, if you're watching this, I appreciate it because that just shows me you want that score to improve. No matter what it was on Monday, hopefully it went up a point today, because that goal is to try and get a 5 by Friday. So we're going to go ahead and get this pulled up. Your Fan 5 today, you were looking at a bar graph, and this is actually a good little pre-teaching lesson because your mini lesson for math, you're actually going to be looking at bar graphs today. Yesterday you looked at data, which we're going to be talking about data all year long, but you looked at categorical data and numerical data. Now, really depending on how you ask this question, you can kind of get both types. I mean, if you're just asking people when their birthday is, that's going to give you categorical data, June, July, August. But if you're asking how many people have a birthday in the summer, 6, 7, 8, that could be numerical. So it just depends on the question. But you'll learn all the pieces of the bar graph and everything that a bar graph has to have, even though you probably already do know that. So the very first question says, how many total students are in the class? Now, no matter what the first question was, I would always have my students start by doing the same thing every time when they're dealing with the bar graph. And that's going to be to label the bars. Now, kind of hard to do that virtually, I understand, but you've got a notebook. You can list out all the months, and you can just write the number beside them for how many students have a birthday in those months. That way, you don't have to keep counting every single time for every question, depending on what it's asking. So that's what we would always do first. So just pretend if I was writing a 3 here, I'd be writing a 4 here, a 2 here. And when you look at the bars, some of them fall directly on a line, some of them fall in between the lines, which you'll see that in your lesson as well. But if you look over here at your scale, it's counting by 2s. This bar for January, it falls in between 2 and 4. And guys, there's only one number between 2 and 4. That's why that number would be represented by 3. So how many total students are in the class? Keyword there being total. We've got to add them all together. Now, I don't want to stack 12 numbers up and add them all at once. I kind of like to go month by month. And I think I can cross them out as I go. So I start with January and February, which would give me 3 plus 4, which would give me 7. And I'm going to list them up here. I'm hoping we can see this. I think you can see that. All right, and then March and April, you've got 2 and 3, which is 5. And I'd go ahead and add those together. And I've got 12 so far. All right, then I'd go May and June. These numbers are a little bit bigger. For May, I had 8, and for June, I had 10. A little bit of mental math we can do there. That's going to give us 18, which I will add to our 12 that we already had. And if I'm looking over in the ones place, 8 plus 2 is going to give me 10. 0 stays, 1 goes. I always like to carry those numbers over and circle them so I don't forget them. And then in the tens place, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is just going to give me 3. So again, I got to keep on cooking. July and August, I've got 6 plus 1. That gives me 7. And more mental math there. I know 30 plus 7 is going to give me 37. So I'm going to go ahead and start back at the top up here. 37. Got a few months left. September, we had 7. October, we had 8. So if I go 7 plus 8, that would give me 15, which I can add to the 37 I already have. In the ones place, 7 plus 5 is going to give me 12. 2 stays, 1 goes. Circle. Then 3 plus 1 gives me 4, plus 1 more gives me 5, puts me at 52. With 2 months left, November had 4 birthdays, December had 7. Again, I could do 7 plus 4, but I know that's going to give me 11, which I could add here. 2 plus 1 gives me, come on, Mr. Huber. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. 5 plus 1 gives me 6. That would give me a total of 63 students in that class. So the addition I'm not really worried about, but when you're adding a bunch of numbers together, depending on your technique or your strategy, it could get a little hairy if you try to add them all at once. And it could work that way. You just got to be really careful that you're counting and adding correctly. What am I doing? All right, that would be number 1, which is D. Clear my drawings. Now we're rolling, kind of. All right, number 2, it says how many more students had a birthday in September than February. Now, it was either in one of our first day of school activities, or it might have been in our practice Fan 5 that we did. We talked about the words how many more, and guys, you're going to see how many more a bunch. You might have even seen it in yesterday's Fantastic 5. When you hear how many more, you've got to subtract. So we're focusing on 2 months here, September and February, and here's where those numbers above the bars would be helpful, but it doesn't take us long to figure them out. So if I look at September, it falls right in between 6 and 8, which obviously is going to be represented by a 7. And February is here, lands on a 4. How many more? We just said we got to subtract. And obviously, if we're going 7 times 4, or I'm sorry, 7 minus 4, we're going to get 3, which is A. And I will admit, these numbers, they're not all that big. But I told you in yesterday's video, and I told you in class, we're not going to dive straight in on this Fan 5. It's going to get a lot more challenging, but we're just easing our way into the start. All right, look at number 3. Now, number 3 to me is a really good question. It's one of my favorite questions, and I'm going to probably guess, I'm filming this video a few days ahead, so I'm going to guess that this is going to be the most missed question. And it all depends on if you're reading it correctly. It says how many students had a birthday in July or later. So that doesn't mean just July. That means July and every single month after it. It does include July. Now that question can change with just one word, and you'll see some examples of that. So if I'm only focused on July or later, that means none of these matter because those are all before July. I'm focusing right here. So July had 6 birthdays. Boom. August had 1 birthday. Boom. Add those together and we get 7. Cross those out so I don't or duplicate. September had 7 as well. 7 plus 7 is going to give me 14. October had 8. So if I add 8 to that 14, 8 plus 4 gives me 12. 2 stays, 1 goes. Circle. 1 plus 1 is 2. All right, if I added the 4 from November to 22, that's going to give me 26. And December had 7 birthdays as well. 7 plus 6 gives me 13. 3 stays, 1 goes. 2 plus 1 is going to give me 3. That answer would have been D, 33 birthdays. So I could see where somebody would put 6. Okay, that would just be July though. If you chose 1, you're looking later than July, but you only looked 1 month past and ignored the ones beyond that. So, and if you did 27, you didn't include July. So that's where the question can change. It could have said, how many students had a birthday after July? That would mean you wouldn't count it. But if it says July or later, you've got to toss that in there. And you're going to see questions like that. So that one would have been D. And moving on to, I think this is 4. This is 4. How many students had a birthday? Nope. How many students had birthdays in February, March, and April combined? There's another keyword there that we've talked about. So we're only focused on a few months. Let me see. February, March, April. Boom, boom, boom. February had 4. March had 2. That would give us 6. 6 plus the 3 from April is going to give me 9. That one would be C. That might be one that we get a clean sweep on. I don't think we're going to have much trouble with that one. And last but not least, awesome question because you're forced to use the answer choices. You gotta test them out. It wanted to know which 2 months had 8 birthdays combined. And you don't have to go hunting on your own and say, okay, let me try January and February. Let me try January and March. Just look at the answer choices. Try June and April. All right, so June had 10. April had 3. 10 plus 3 is not going to give us 8 birthdays combined. I think I said 18. I meant to say 8. For B, December and July. Okay, December has 7. July has 6. 7 plus 6, 13. That's not my answer. All right, August and September. August only has 1, September has 7. 7 and 1 gives us 8 combined, but you're going to check D just in case. Might have made a mistake. If we look at May and January, May's got 8 already, and January's got 3 more on top of that, so that couldn't be the answer. So your answer would be C, August and September. So let me give you my expectation. I would think our scores should be like pretty top notch on these questions. These are questions you probably could have answered last year. And I'm going to assume when you did graphing last year, it was probably in person and not virtually. So by now, or by Wednesday, which is tomorrow, I do expect you to be getting into that 3, 4, or 5 range. And if you're not, as long as you're improving, that's okay. So you'll have a different graph tomorrow, which is, to me, going to be a little bit more challenging for you, but the questions are going to be the same types of questions, same type of keywords, same type of strategies you can use. So that is Tuesday's video. Next, you're going to go into your little mini lesson, and you're going to look at frequency tables and bar graphs. And I think you might just have a short little exit ticket for me today, and that'll be it. But I hope this video helped. If you got a 5, awesome. If you improved, awesome. If you weren't so happy with your score and this video helped you with something, helped you understand something better, even better. All right, so thank you guys for watching, and we will see you a little bit later.